Okay, everybody, let's pick back up. Now, by roughly the year 700, Christian missionaries arrived in England to convert the pagans to Christianity. And the language of the Christian church is Latin. So if you're taking notes, and please do, you should have kind of like a timeline with the different impacts, the different roots of the languages coming in. So if you'll reflect, there was the common tongue, right? That's the people today that we call the Celts or the Celts, had their own language. Then Latin with the Roman Empire, then German with the Anglo-Saxons, and then Latin again with the church. So you're seeing kind of a layering here and a mixing of all these different roots. Then in 1066, and I always tell people, the one date that you must know in English Literature 1 is 1066. It's really significant. And you might be asking, hey, Mr. K, why is 1066 so significant? That's because the Normans were a group of French-speaking people from Normandy. That's why we call them the Normans, because they were from Normandy. And that's part of France. And they were led by William the Conqueror, who had he claimed that he was next in line for the English throne, and he was denied that claim. So he said, well, guess what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to attack you. So he attacked and he defeated the Britons at the Battle of Hastings. And that was in 1066. And hint, yes, you will see that as an exam question. Now, this is when we get the third language introduced, which is French. So you can add that to your notes. Yeah. Now, what's significant about this is that not only is the French language introduced and added to the stew, but French culture and French literature arrives. And since, this is 1066 and it's the last one added, right, by William the Conqueror, its influence and its importance is really significant, really great. So now, I'd like to welcome everyone to England and the English. This is an island of peoples, languages, and divisions. So now, just want to do something here. Just kind of close your eyes and imagine as you go through your day during this time in England. So you're walking along, and when you would go to church, you would hear Latin. And just a quick little caveat here. By the way, you would probably not be going to school because schools during this time were reserved for the upper crust. So we would be commoners, right? And we would go to church and we would hear Latin. And just in case you're curious, you would only understand a few words of Latin. So you would have to sit through this long church service and you're really not understanding much. And when they're reading from scripture, it's in Latin too. And you're probably sitting there saying to yourself, when can I get out of this building? Then if you have to go to court or, if some type of patronage to the king or a noble, you would hear French. And then there's all of us guys. Yes, we would be speaking English, which is the mixture of the native tongue, German, Latin, and French, all mixed up. Yeah, so this is just crazy. Life during this time was based upon divisions of the languages and the peoples that we will see significantly in what it was like to live in the Middle Ages in England during this. Now, the Christian church, it's really hard to understate the importance of the Christian church and the job that these people had. They provided spiritual guidance through well-known precepts, and it was really an uphill battle because, you know, the Bible is in Latin. The bulk of the population is illiterate, so they, you know, there's no printing press, so there's no Bibles to pass out. So what do? Well, you teach people the 10 Commandments, right? If you avoid those, and then they added the 7 deadly sins, which are pride, envy, wrath, greed, sloth, gluttony, lust. What is pride? Pride is thinking more of yourself than you should. When people are so full of pride, then what you can do is you can start to upset the order of things and even believe that you're more significant, more important than God, which is bad. Envy, of course, that's what jealousy, that's bad. Wrath is extreme anger. When you're full of wrath, your mental mind kind of turns off and you don't think logically. Greed, avarice, the love of money. Sloth refers to not only physical laziness, but spiritual laziness as well. Gluttony. Glutton refers to not only overeating, but drinking too much as well. And then lust. And we all know what lust is. It's the physical part of love. And in case you're curious, this is kind of an order here for the 7 deadly sins, from worst to least worst. So the church not only had to make sure that everybody made it to heaven, but they also provided education and early health care. Now, the 3 estates. So here we see the divisions based upon language. And the visual here is a depiction of the 3 estates. So moving from left to right, the clergy, that's Latin. Their job, those who pray. Their purpose was to save everybody's soul. Next, in the middle, that's the nobility, represented by the knight, speaking French. And their job was those who fight. And their purpose was to protect and allow for all to work in peace and to provide justice. Then to the far right, there we are, everybody. We are the peasants. We're those guys speaking English and working to support everybody else. And what do? We feed and clothe the clergy and the nobility. So the 3 estates is based upon languages and divisions in society. And if we were to do like a pyramid of society, the peasants make up roughly 90% of the population. The clergy and the nobles combined about 10%. And as we all know, the 90%, right, were largely illiterate. I know. I'm not making the rules here, guys. I'm just here to let everybody know about it, and we'll continue the letting know about in the next lecture.